What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Modern Fatherhood podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been a little while, but with me today is going to be Johnny. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How we doing?
How you doing?
We're here getting ready for Christmas.
Christmas is real, dude. I find we got the tree set up and spent a god awful amount of money on presents.
Mm-hmm.
I got my oldest boy a new tablet. He doesn't even know. He got grounded because he wasn't supposed to be on like on the video games like I let him play.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't supposed to be adding people, and I put parental restrictions. And then I
Yeah.
got on his tablet and I checked all his games, and he was adding people. So he got grounded, and because he was grounded, his little sister took it over for like ABC Mouse learning and stuff.
All right.
And then as we got further into being grounded, I was just like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to buy a new tablet." Yeah,
Yep. I feel that. My oldest is to the point now to where he wants like real things in life. He wants expensive things, and I'm like, this is Christmas. You know, saying it ain't real, right? Like this is money. And
yeah,
so, I mean, I got him a few things and whatever. But my youngest now is to the point that he wants like digital money. He wants money for the games. He wants V-Bucks for Fortnite and, all that stuff. So it's a little easier because he's got all the essentials and he's going to get he's going to get clothes and all the other stuff from other people that have no idea what to get him. So I'm not worried about that. So it's a good thing.
yeah. I didn't know what V Bucks was until last week, and
Oh
it's
my gosh.
because yeah, I suck at video games, so I don't even try. Like my son tried getting me to play Fortnite, and I started playing it, and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean I have to build this fortress while I'm trying to kill people and not die?" And I just
No, man.
I could not do it.
You got to play no
And
build.
yeah. I I have it. There's a PS5 sitting right there, and I only play Skyrim and shit on it. I
Right.
don't even try.
Yeah. My oldest loves
But
Skyrim. That was his jam years ago.
so my brother gave my son Skyrim for his Switch, and that's all he wants to play now. And I was like, you can play that as much as you want. I don't care about that. You do whatever you want on Skyrim. There's literally
Right.
nothing that bad on there.
Yeah.
So I
I
was
like
I was
that.
happy with that one. But
Yeah.
he went to my brother's house and he was playing Fortnite on their Xbox, and my son bought the Danny Phantom skin, which was like 25 V bucks or something like that.
Yeah.
And because my sister in law texted me and she's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, Damon did this," and I was just like, "Okay, what?" I was like, "What the fuck's a V buck?" And she was like, "It's money on Fortnite." I was like, "So he spent money?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Why don't you have that restricted? Why would you hand that controller to an 8-year-old?" I was like,
Right.
because when he got Fortnite, he got like $200 worth of gift cards to go with it from his
Right.
grandparents. So he
Nice.
he he bought he bought every skin he could possibly want. He bought like the
Yeah.
pack where it unlocked like 200 skins or whatever it is. So he literally
Hmm.
just he
He went ham.
no it yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, "You want me to send you money?" She was like, "Yeah, that was $25." I was like, "What the fuck do you mean that was $25?" I
Oh
was like,
man.
$25 for a skin on a game?
Oh yeah.
And that's
It's
that's when I
intense.
went and looked at his skin pack on the thing, and I realized it was $100, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god."
Hmm. Yeah.
I keep
My
forgetting I'm
youngest.
I keep forgetting I'm supposed to not cuss a lot on here because I'm on iHeartRadio now.
Right.
I'm gonna have to
Maybe they'll
bleep
bleep it
out so
out.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to bleep it
So
out.
my youngest is 10 and he has been playing Fortnite for probably 4 or 5 years. It sounds kind of crazy, but he is so good at it. But you can't do anything on Fortnite like legitimately. You can't play tournaments. You can't do any of that until you're at least 13. So he is like that's his life goal right now. Like he doesn't care about driving when he's 16. He doesn't care about anything. He just wants to be 13 so he can play in Fortnite tournaments.
There you go.
And I mean, admittedly,
Look,
he's good, and I can't imagine. And that's exactly what I tell him. I'm like, listen, dude, there are guys out there that are doing this and winning millions of dollars. You only got to do it one
Literally,
time. You got to do, you know what I
literally.
mean? And he's planning it out already. He's like, listen, if I win $1 million, you're never going to want for anything. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's
It,
exactly the way $1 million is going to go today, but I'm with you.
I,
I'm with you and I
I was like,
support
I
you.
appreciate the sentiment. I like it.
Yeah.
Keep that
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah, he's
David's the same
excited.
way. He's like, Dad, I'm gonna build us a flying Lamborghini, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna be billionaires. And I was just like, mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
like that.
I'm just like, son, you can do whatever you want in life. I was like, that's totally okay. I was like, you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about me though. He's like, I'm gonna get you a flying Lamborghini. And
Yeah, right.
I was like, okay. He's just like, do you want a Lamborghini? And I had to like sit there and pause for a second. And I was just like,
Yeah.
there. I would drive a Lamborghini. He's like, you hesitated. I was just like, there are cars that I would rather have than a Lamborghini. He's like, what?
Right.
And I was just like, an R32 Skyline to start. That would be a good one.
Right. Yeah. 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 Because I mean, like I don't know how it was when you grew up, but when I grew up, like video games were a very like I was allowed to have them and play them, but it wasn't a thing that I could do a lot. And it certainly wasn't
Yeah,
something that
no.
I could do as like a teenager and an adult. My dad and everybody was like, "Listen, you gotta do something with your life, whatever." And I did, and whatever. I got into the blue collar work, but the point is, like nowadays, it's not that way. Like I'm gonna support him as much as I can because if he can legitimately get on there and lock in and win this thing, like you can make real money, life changing money for himself. And I'm like, buddy, get it.
Yeah, because it's so different now.
Oh
The
yeah,
internet has completely changed the way all that stuff works.
oh
So
yeah.
like,
They didn't.
I mean, just like my TikTok streams and stuff like that. Like, I've had one where I made $200,
That's so wild.
and all I was doing was sitting there listening to Sleep Token and talking to people.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
then
got on one.
you have people that like stream their games and like have like crazy
Mhm.
setups and like music going and all sorts of stuff. And
Yeah.
people will hang out and pay you money for that.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand the internet at all. Actually, it took me so long to figure out how to just do a podcast.
Right.
Like if this wasn't all through a program that does it all for me, I would not have a podcast.
Right.
Because
Right. Right.
I didn't even find this. Ricky was already using this for the Southern Heathens, and then I just
Yeah.
kind of like made my own account and I figured it out because it's so simple. I just hit record.
Right. Yeah.
Like
I hopped on.
I just started editing, and it's so difficult. I suck at it.
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way. Like I can do videos, but picking them apart and taking out those awkward silences or the pieces where I'm like, I messed that word up, and then I got to stop and re-record it because I don't know how to edit it and stop it and clip it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pain. It's a pain. But I hopped on a
I'm
live.
not good at it.
Yeah, I hopped on a live like last week or the week before when they were really big on Live Fest, and people I didn't know, and they were battling, and they like how you can see the points,
Yeah,
bro. The points were in the millions,
some of those
and
big
I was like,
those top
and I
guys,
and I was
it's
like,
insane.
what is going on here? And it's two women, and one of them is super chill, you can't hear her, and then the other woman over here is, I mean, just going nuts, and she's got music in the background, and she is just going eight eight on this thing. And I'm like, I don't know how the points go. I know the points have to do with gifts and stuff like that. But even in my small brain, I was like, this girl is making bank off this one live.
Oh yeah,
And she was going
yeah.
back to
So
back to back to back.
one
And I'm like, holy cow.
one point is one coin.
Right.
So like the biggest gift I've sent was a castle, which is 20,000 coins, and that's $200.
Right. Holy shenanigans.
So when you see it up in the millions, it's thousands of dollars, tens of
Yeah.
thousands of dollars
Yeah. In one
for
live.
That's for 5 minutes for one battle.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's sick. It's wild.
It's
I
insane.
can't, I can't
The internet
fathom
is
that.
insane.
Yeah. I was just blown
Yeah.
away.
like I've done some battles because I like you see it. I'm on TikTok heavily, whether it's for Modern Fatherhood or it's just my music or whatever I'm doing. I
Right.
post all the time. I'm very active.
Yeah.
I could not. I don't think I could be like one of those big battlers because like people get on there and they like talk shit and I'm just too nice of a person. I'm just like, yeah, sure, dude, whatever you say, it's fine.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's just like there was one guy I was doing random battles and he came on there and he started talking shit and I was just like, that's kind of dumb. That doesn't even make sense. And then he's just like,
Right.
fuck you, and then he left. And I was just like, I'm just saying, if you're gonna talk shit, be good at it.
Right. Makes
Like
sense.
you can't like you come on here and you start making fun of my accent and it's just like, ooh, like I haven't heard that since I was a kid.
Right.
Like you want to get a rise out of me, you're gonna have to do better than that.
So do you know who Bert Kreischer is?
Oh, I love Bert Kreischer. He's coming. He's
Okay.
coming to where I live. I'm getting tickets. They're like $40 a piece.
Right. So subsequently, I'm moving to New York in February, and so
Really?
obviously I've been in the South for the better part of 30 years, and so this person that I'm talking to up there is like you're gonna come up here and they're gonna treat you like Bert Kreischer. They're gonna think you eat biscuits and gravy every day for 3 meals a day. And I'm like, oh my God.
The what?
Because I don't
The
hear my accent and she hears it and she's like, no, no, you're gonna come up here and people are just gonna like fall over you. And I'm like,
so I've only gone up north twice, and the one time we had left, we I was it was when I was still a farmhand, and we left from work. So we were Wrangler shirt, long sleeve, belt buckle, jeans, boots, hats,
oh
and
yeah, you're a cowboy.
we drove straight to Chicago. And we're
Right.
in the hospital, and the nurse is like, "Can I ask you something?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "Do you eat fried chicken with every meal?" And I said, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're from the South, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like my hat said Southern style barn maintenance, and I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Okay." She's like, "Do you take naps every time you eat?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Sundays, maybe. That's different." Because at the time I was still Christian. And then the last question she asked if everyone had gingivitis. And that's when I was like, are you fucking serious right now?
Right.
And so
Golly.
like, and my accent isn't that thick. It switches because I had to do speech therapy
Right.
because I was failing so many tests and stuff as a kid because my accent was so thick.
Yeah.
I couldn't sound anything out. Phonics and stuff was out the window.
Right.
And then my voice was lower, so then no one could hear me. So the school put me in speech therapy, and so it trained me to like raise my voice a little higher and pronunciate everything very clearly. And you
Yeah.
hear it a lot whenever I'm on the podcast and everything, and my accent will come out a little bit. But whenever I'm with my friends, and especially if I'm there for a while,
The
all of a
twang
sudden I
comes
sound like,
out.
yeah, yeah. They're just like when like people will hear me or they'll call me. I'll be like, hello, and they'll be like, what the fuck? it's just it's just like I was like, I am in fact from the South. Yes, Georgia. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 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 Where are you at now?
So what's
Where do you live now?
I'm in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad. I'm in
So
Tennessee. I'm in right in like
home of the
middle
Masters.
East Tennessee. Nice.
I'm going to Manchester in June.
Oh, nice. That's not bad. Are you going there for work?
And I'm going Bonnaroo.
Oh, yes. That's what's up. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Bonnaroo
there
was.
last year and I was so excited to see Megadeth.
Hmm.
And then that's the Friday it got stormed out.
Oh my gosh. I remember seeing all the
Yep.
TikToks about it. People were so mad.
Dude, but what people didn't realize was how bad that storm actually was.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was bad. Like my campsite survived. Like my canopy broke, but I dropped it down and it was fine. I did like some duct tape repair and I put it back up.
Right.
But there was people's campsites that like their shit washed away.
Oh yeah.
But not only that, but they weren't prepared for the amount of people they let in there, and like
Hmm.
the porta johns were, if you were a girl, some of them you couldn't sit down
Yeah.
because they were
Yep.
overflowing. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They
But
needed to they needed to reevaluate that entire thing.
oh yeah. I've been in Tennessee for the last forever, so I see the Bonnaroo trains every year. And Bonnaroo has gone from like this little no-name music festival to like the modern day Woodstock, all in a
Yeah.
matter of years. And it blows my mind to see how many just
Dude.
absolutely amazing acts that sign up for it and they go and people just have a great time.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I saw Luke Combs there. You wouldn't think Luke Combs would be at Bonnaroo. Luke
Right?
Combs was at Bonnaroo last year, and that man put on a show. And he was just like,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if people were going to show up to see me, and like it was packed out. That
Oh
entire
yeah.
field, there was wiggle room.
Yep.
And then he brought out Miranda Lambert, and everyone freaked out.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick
Everyone
my
knows who Miranda Lambert is.
right, I think if I had to pick, because I would love to go to music festivals. I've never been to one, but if I had to pick three, I would go to Bonnaroo, Incarceration, and the Electric Forest in Michigan. Those
Yep,
three, like that,
all
would
three of
like
those. Yeah,
give me those because to see all those guys and then like Incarceration this year. Oh my God,
it was
yeah, I would have
sick.
killed to have
My son
gone.
wanted me to go. He wanted to go
Yeah,
so bad, and I was just like, I'm not taking my 8 year old son to a 3 day metal festival.
right,
I was
right,
like,
right.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, and I
yeah,
know he'd be fine. I know we'd have fun, but I didn't want to hear about, oh, my feet hurt, Dad, carry me. No, my feet hurt
yeah.
too. I don't want to carry you right now.
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
for, I took him to see Lorna Shore in Whitechapel,
Okay.
um, for his 7th birthday. I took him to see
Nice.
Lorna Shore, Whitechapel, and Cubacan, Texas. And ever
Okay.
since then, he's just been solidified as a metalhead. Like that,
Right.
he's a metalhead.
Yeah.
And he walked up to me one day because he realized he has music on his tablet before he got grounded. And he walked up to me. He's like, Dad, what do you know about the Kid of Darkness? And I was like, do you mean the King of Darkness? I was like, Ozzy Osbourne? I was like, I know a lot about Ozzy Osbourne. He's like, no,
Right.
Dad, the Kid of Darkness. And I wasn't thinking about it. And I was like, I guess nothing, buddy. Show it to me. And it was Slaughter to Prevail.
Oh
And
gosh.
he thought he was introducing me to Slaughter to Prevail. And
He was like, "You're never
he was
gonna
so
believe this."
excited about this. Yeah, he was just like, look at this, Dad. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, buddy. I was like, buddy. I was like, Baba Yaga and Demolisher. Let me show you. Let me teach you something real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all he's wanted to see is Slaughter to
Yeah.
Prevail. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about on a weekly basis asking me when we're going to go see them.
Right.
And then like I ordered him an Alex the Terrible mask for Christmas, and then their workshop collapsed. Literally, the building did.
Oh wow.
So still waiting on that. I should have it before the concert, but he doesn't know because his Christmas present is I got a Slaughter to Prevail tickets to see Slaughter in
Nice.
Whitechapel in April.
Oh, that's
And
killer.
oh yeah, yeah. I promise I'm more excited than he will be.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I've wanted to see Slaughter so bad.
Right. And that's also one of those things that he doesn't realize what that memory is going to do for him later in life.
No.
Because you know
And
what I mean?
dude,
Like,
the Lorna Shore one, it was crazy because so like I got a super good seats for like taking
yeah,
a kid. We were in the balcony right on the corner of the stage.
nice.
So like not far in the front, not too far back, like right on the corner. So when like Lorna Shore got up on their big platforms to do their solos and shit, eye level with Damon.
Oh my
And like
gosh.
pointing at him, like Will Ramos pointed at him, Phil Bozeman pointed at him. He was
Right.
in heaven. And then everyone around us in the balcony realized it was his first metal show. So whenever he started headbanging, they'd all sync headbang with him, so he felt included. Like
Oh
they were
my
like
gosh.
checking on him, making sure he was having fun, like hyping
Yeah.
him up. Like
Yeah.
it was such a magical metal show, and that's why I love the metal community. Like
Yeah.
it's such a good community.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets a bad rap sometimes because people don't understand the music and whatever. But the community itself is so great for that reason right there. Like I've known so many guys that have made TikToks with their kid and done little, like little lip sync videos and stuff like that have gone viral. And people love it.
Oh
And
yeah,
the metal community loves it because you're raising these little kids to love this music. I love it.
yeah. The metal community is the most. There's only one music community that I think is more inclusive than metal, and that's the punk scene.
Right. Yeah.
And that's slim margins because they're the same. It's the same music, just different
Yeah.
approaches to it.
Right.
And everyone I know in the punk scene is also in the metal scene.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like
I like that.
everyone two steps. You go to a punk show or a metal show, you're gonna two step. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So it works
Yep.
out.
Yep. Everybody's
I
got a
mean,
mosh pit. They all love it. Yeah.
everyone's got a mosh pit, and
I
so you
also,
can't see it because you're hooked up to my laptop right now. I just broke out my electric drum set because Damon wants to learn how to play drums.
oh, that's killer.
So he's just like, Dad, can you teach me? This boy asked me to teach him how to play Slaughter to Prevail. I said, Son, I can't play Slaughter to Prevail. He's just like, you can't move your feet fast enough. I was like, no, I can heel toe as fast as anybody else. I was like, but I can't get my hand to move that fast, and I can't monkey blast for shit.
Right. Right.
Because I
Yeah.
broke this hand a number of years ago, and I haven't ever been able to get the speed back into it. I built this one up. I can go really fast with my left hand, which is funny because I'm not left-handed, but
Right.
my right hand just isn't as fast anymore.
Yeah. I like
And if
that.
I can get him playing drums now, then I mean, he's going to be insane
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
doesn't care about learning any other type of drums besides metal.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I told him, I was like, I'm going to teach you the basics. He's like, of metal? I said, no. No, 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 no. I was like, we have to start with drums, just drums.
Right.
I was like, how to hold the sticks, how to hold a tempo, how to do this. I was like, metronome. And
Mhm.
he's like, what's a metronome? I was like, that really annoying click. He's like, oh, I have to hear that? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, if you want to be a
Yep.
drummer, you got to get used to the click.
Yep.
And so
Yeah. Yeah.
the drum set's right there. I just got to put it in his room, and then he wants like daily drum lessons, and I was like, I was like, I can't do daily, but I can do often.
Yeah. 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 That's
So
super cool.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of noise.
Uh, thankfully, it's electric. Because I sold my actual drum set whenever I left the last band I was in, and I sold it to help buy a house.
Well,
But
that's
also because
respectable.
I was starting. Yeah, yeah. I hate myself for it now, but
Yeah. I get
uh,
that.
I was starting swing shift again, so I couldn't handle the time needed. I couldn't dedicate the time needed to still be in the music scene, and that's one of my biggest regrets is selling that drum set. But I got the
Hell yeah.
house, so I mean,
That's what matters.
I sold my drum set and my mud truck, and I regret both.
What kind of mud truck do you have?
It was a 2001 Chevy Silverado.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not bad.
it was
Not
just
bad.
lifted 6 inches on 35s with bead lockers.
Right. 5'3"? Yeah. Nice.
5.3 with a built transmission and a welded rear end.
Nice. That's the Achilles heel of those trucks, the transmission.
Those 4L60s are trash.
Yeah.
They're the
My
most
son's got.
trash transmission
Yeah.
fucking Chevy ever put out. I hate them.
Yeah. Yeah. My son's got two of
And
them
the
right
worst
now
thing
that
is,
need transmission.
damn, I get
Yeah.
that. I get that. If I'm ever in Tennessee, I can help. There, it's
Yeah.
I've 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 swapped so many 4L60Es. It's not even funny. I could have it out in probably 20 minutes with an
Right.
impact.
Right.
I
It's
I
crazy.
hate 4L60s so much
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if so, I had that one built and I sold the truck and I told the kid and his parents, I was like, the only thing left is you have to run a new vent line. It needs a new vent line because I was like, it's an old truck. So run the new vent lines, run it to the breather box, protect yourself. I was like, do not take it in a mud hole until you do this. Don't do it. It'll destroy everything. What did he do 2 weeks later?
Oh,
Took it into a fucking mud hole.
oh
Transmission
my
shot.
gosh.
Mom's calling me, like, "Hey, is the warranty still good on the transmission?" I was like, "The non-transferable warranty I told you was non-transferable and told you not to take it in a mud hole."
Right. Oh
And she's like,
man.
"He didn't take it in a mud hole." I go to work, talk to his cousin, sank that thing in a mud hole. Sure did.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, all
Oh my
right.
gosh. I've had that
I was
happen to
so
me
mad.
though.
I put so much time into that truck. I was pissed.
Oh yeah. When I was younger, I had a 71 F100 that was beautiful.
Ooh.
And it was a sport custom. It was this like black cherry color. It had the whole interior was redone. I mean, this truck was beautiful. And this guy that I knew and my wife knew him, and he gave me this sad story and told me that he needed a truck and his family needed a truck and all this other stuff. So not only did I sell this thing to this guy, but I sold it to him on payments.
He never paid you, did he?
No, it wasn't even about that. The day after I sold this thing to this guy, I see the truck in a local gas station parking lot next to the interstate. And I kid you not, somebody had thrown a brick through the windshield because they were mad at this guy or what have you. And I'm like, a day after you got this truck, somebody has already found it, knew you had it, and thrown a brick through the windshield. And I cried. I openly cried. I was like, oh my God.
I'd be so upset. You know how hard it is to find a windshield for that?
Right. I'm like,
Like
oh my
I'm
God.
going through that with my '87 Ford right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It broke my heart. I was like, I can't believe
I'd
it.
be so
Can't believe
pissed.
I sold this to you.
I'd crash out. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
crash out.
Oh man.
So you found me through Modern Fatherhood, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So when it comes to being a dad, tell me a bit about your story. Like what's fatherhood for you? What's your journey?
Oh my gosh. So admittedly, when we found out we were pregnant when I was 18, I was already so I did something kind of unique. When I was in high school, they had this opportunity to earn dual credits at the technical school my last 2 years, so my junior and senior year. And I had known previously because when you're in eighth grade, they show you these things and you get to walk around the school and they say, well, when you get to this point, you have the opportunity to go here and you can take different classes and whatnot. So I knew my entire high school career that I was doing everything I could so that I could spend all the time that I could at that technology school, the 2 years that it was available to me. And I say that because I chose to go an industrial maintenance route. And so fast forward to my senior year, and my girlfriend at the time gets pregnant in February. February 6th was the night she got pregnant. I know it, she knows it, and yeah, I can't explain it, but we knew. And so
Yeah,
I
I know
graduate high.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I graduated high school in May, and then I graduated with a 2 year certificate the following August. And I never took any time off because me and another buddy of mine had been doing it together. And we knew that if we took the summer off like normal people, like we just have to come back in the fall and keep going. But we knew if we pushed through it, we could both graduate with this 2 year certificate in August.
Yeah.
So I did that. I got the certificate in August, got married to her in September, and then my son was born in October. And at the time, this was all kind of happening fast. And I, in hindsight, I kind of realized too that one of the challenges, and they've kind of gotten they figured their way out with this, but at the time, they didn't have a whole lot of job placement. Like they gave me the certificate, and it was virtually like, "Here you go, congratulations, good luck, find a job." That's it. Where now when you go, they have a lot of they have a you have a lot of help getting out there and getting in the field and starting work like that and all of that. So when I when he was born, we she was in childcare, and so she was very aware of how much childcare was going to cost, how and all of that type of thing. So she was like, "Well, I'll stay home," and I was like, "Okay, this makes sense. I don't want to pay the exorbitant amount for daycare, especially for you to go to work, make peanuts, and then us, you get the idea." And so we did that for a while, and it was tough. It was tough because we were living in this little two-bedroom apartment, and at the time I'm working for Walmart, working in the tire and lube, and I mean, like I'm working my tail off trying to make this work because we're out here on our own, and we couldn't get food stamps. We didn't qualify for it because for some godforsaken reason I made too much money, which makes no sense to me because I mean I'm working at Walmart making minimum wage. My wife doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyway, so I mean it was tough for a while, and we had our struggles with it. And then when he was 5, she was very Christian. She was so Christian. She got out of public school when she was at a young age, and then she went to this Seventh Day Adventist school for the longest time. Like she never rebelled against her parents when she was a teenager. She was very like straight and narrow. And I was raised Christian, but admittedly, like during my teenage years, I was like, I'm not entirely sure how I like this. Like I had been forced to go for so long that I was like, I don't want to go. Like this is not my jam. I understand why you like it and all this stuff. And I married a Christian girl that wanted to go every Sunday and loved the Lord and did all those things. So admittedly, it was kind of a struggle because although I supported her and I would go to church and my son was baptized and all those types of things, like internally it was a struggle for me because I was like, I'm really not in this. And when he was 5, we just kind of went our separate ways because we understood, that we it was an ugly thing to think about, but we were just two people that weren't destined for each other. You know what I mean? And it was kind of amicable. And
Especially that time period where the age at that age, like from 18 to 23, you grow and change as a person so much.
oh yeah,
Like and you see it all the time. It's just the biggest difference with that kind of stuff is how the breakups happen. So
right,
y'all understanding and like choosing to like separate amicably like that.
right, yeah,
That's
and
an awesome thing because I hear both sides. I hear how.
oh yeah,
Oh my god, I hear some stories.
oh yeah. And in hindsight, it was. I mean, honestly, I couldn't ask for a better co-parent, I guess you could say, because like when we split, I mean, there was nothing weird. She was like, we're going to talk about him. We're only going to talk about him, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the way it went. And I mean, like it went that way until he was, well, I mean, even now when he's 18 or he's 20 now, but I mean, up until he was 18. And I mean, it worked out great. It worked out great. When he was 14, 13 or 14, he finally got her to like let him stay with me all the time because bless my son's hearts, they're daddy's boys. They both are. And he struggled the entire time growing up because she was very Christian. She had a lot of restrictions. He liked gaming. He couldn't play like Grand Theft Auto. Like she was not about that life. She was like, you can't have it. I don't even want that game in my house, more or less you playing it. Because you could pay a priest off in Vegas to save you. In the game, you could pay a priest off to save you. And she was like, not having it. And I'm like, how did you even know that? And she's like, well, I read the little book. And I'm like, you read the book? Who reads the book? You know what I mean? But
Nobody reads the fucking book.
right, right. But so he grew up under that, and he struggled the entire time. And raising him the entire time, I was like, I only had two things that I needed him to do. I said, listen, you got to respect your mom, and you got to do good in school. That's it. You know what I mean? I will love you, and I will support you through anything, but you have to respect your mom, and you have to do good in school. And so when he was about 13 or 14, he finally convinced her. He was like, I want to live with dad, like all the time. And because we lived in the same community, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But
Yeah.
it was also her baby because to this day, he's the only kid that she ever had. And so that, that was a struggle for her because she always fostered a good relationship between us. She wanted us to have traditions and she wanted us to have, a good relationship. But at the same time, she was like, why does he want to be with you all the time? And I'm like, he's just a daddy's boy. Like, I get it. Like, it
He's a
is what it
boy.
is. Yeah.
He's a boy.
Yeah. He liked, I mean, and I mean, like I raised him to like to go fishing and to shoot guns and do all that stuff. And, now he loves Suicide Boys. He drives an S10 with two 12s in the back and he's got long
Hey.
hair. He's got long hair. He started doing tattoos a year ago or something like that. And, he's living his best life. And I can't complain about it at all because he works, he makes his own money, pays his own bills, pays for his own maintenance on his cars. I mean, I help him tremendously, but I mean, like, I couldn't ask for a better situation. And, I mean, like, I'm not one of those people that feels like he needs to have it all figured out. Because, I mean, like, he's 20 years old. He graduated from high school, walked the line, did his thing. And right now he's working at a restaurant in town. And I couldn't be more proud of him. You know what I mean? Like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, you don't have to have this shit figured out. You know what I mean? Like
No,
go out
20.
there
No,
and
no.
do things.
I don't have shit figured out. I'm 27. All right, you don't
Right,
have shit figured out.
right. Because
We're all
some
winging it.
right. Because sometimes he'll talk about wanting to go work at a factory, and I'm like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. I said, don't do it. I said because you will get sucked in there. I said, and it'll ruin your body. You'll just get sucked into it. And the people that do that get debilitated. You don't have a life. Yeah, the parking lot is full of people with nice cars. I get it. They all, there are a ton of people out there that have nice cars, and I
And
understand that.
they drive those cars to and from work. That's it.
Right, and the bank owns them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You own because I mean, like, I can't tell you how many guys I know that have trucks that have $1,000 payments, and I'm like, there ain't no way. I don't want it. I
That's
don't want it.
that's the biggest mistake I see in the blue collar community. So like I I I I I work in the nuclear field.
Right,
So it's blue collar, but it's not blue collar. It depends on who you ask. But for us around here, it's blue collar, and it's one of the best jobs around here you can get.
right.
And we always say when you come out there and you start making that money, everyone does three different things. They either buy a house, they buy a new car, and they always get a girlfriend.
Yep,
And when these new guys, these 19, 18, 19 year olds come out there, if they're lucky enough to get out there at that age, I'm just like, stay with your fucking parents, save your fucking money, put
yep,
15% in your 401k, and don't buy that stupid fucking truck you want.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, don't do it.
yep.
And do they listen? Typically, no. Typically, no. A
Right.
couple of them have. Like there was one, he started 5 years ago. He was like, what advice would you give me starting out here now? I was like, they'll match 12%, put at least 12% in your 401k.
Yep,
Uh, don't buy that truck, stay with your parents.
yep.
And he listened, and he's been out there 5 years. He did a high investment plan. He's got like some 200 something $1,000 in his 401k.
Yeah, that's killer.
And he invested more than 12. I think he said he put as much as he could because yeah, I told him if you don't see it, you don't miss it,
Right.
and
Yep.
he took it to heart. Does he have a new truck now? Yes, he does. But he still
Boy.
lives with his mom and dad. Uh,
Right.
but I mean, he's 24 years old or 23 now,
Yeah.
no debt, paid for his truck in cash, and
Yeah.
he's just banking money. Because I was like, look, dude,
Yeah.
I was like, if you can just save up this money, save as much money as possible, and you start your adult life with 200,000 in the bank, I was like, you set yourself up for life at that point. That's not like a small accomplishment. I was like, that's
Mhm.
something people don't see. Nobody does that anymore. I was like, you have
Yeah.
the opportunity to do it if you just
Yeah.
deal with staying at home.
Mhm.
And he did. and I'm proud of him. He's a good kid.
Oh yeah, that's killer.
I say a kid
Yeah,
like he's not. He's 5 years younger than me, but still.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I've seen it, man. I've seen it. When I was 20, I worked in the oil field, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
working in
people get
Tus.
stuck in that life.
Oh yeah, I was working in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the company I worked for had wells in Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, and uh, that was a lot of the guys. And I mean, I drove a Chevy 2500 diesel, and I'm telling you, to this day, I smell it and I think about Alabama, and I love it. I love the smell of diesel, just like any other guy. But I'm not going to go out there and spend $75,000 so I can come out every day and start it and smell that. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I don't need it. I don't want
no,
it. Like,
these new trucks ain't worth it.
no
They're
way,
not.
no way.
The truck market is so inflated. You're telling me you want me to spend $100,000 on this truck? Kiss my
Yeah,
ass.
yeah,
My first
yeah.
house was $130,000. I'm not spending $100,000 on a truck.
Right. Yeah, especially with the way everything sucks. Like my brother-in-law's got a 20, I think it's a 2018. It was the last year of that body style. He's got a 2500 Ram, and I mean like he's within like a year and a half of paying it off. And I mean like this truck is decked out. It's black. He's got so much shit done to it, and but he's like once I pay this thing off, he's like I'm gonna have this dude until I die. And I'm like, I can respect that. But at the same time, like he's bought this thing on payments and he's had it for probably 4 years now. And I'm like, man, you've probably already got like $75,000 in that truck. And I'm like, I can't fathom that. I can't rationalize it. I can't. I'm like, there's no way.
No.
There's no way. Because like when I was 20 years old and I'm looking at houses to buy and doing all that type of stuff, like these houses were like $60,000, $70,000. And I mean, like not trash houses. Like these were just cute little, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom houses that were nice and would have
Yeah.
passed home inspection and all the things. And I'm like, I can't fathom the fact that now, just this short amount of time later, 15 years later, whatever that looks like, that houses or this truck is going to cost as much as a literal house. And I'm like, there's no way. Just to park it in the driveway and feel good about myself that I own a
I
brand new
can I
truck.
can
Like,
get a double wide. I can buy a double wide trailer cheaper than I can buy a $2,500 truck or a
yeah,
2,500 truck.
yeah, for real.
Like right now, like down off the side highway by the base. I could go buy just a standard double wide, nothing fancy, and it would cost me probably $80,000.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's real.
that's probably a bare bone double wide,
Right.
but
But it's still a house.
it's still a house. I could throw it on some land, install some like appliances in there, and be good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get it.
It's mind blowing. I know
Hmm.
somebody that just spent $120,000 on a truck,
Golly. I
and
can't fathom that. I
I
can't even rationalize it paying for cash. Even if you come to me and you're like, listen, I don't have to finance it. I'm like, I don't care. That's an absurd amount of money to put on four wheels.
yeah, I can't
It's
do it.
crazy. Yeah.
I have to. My work car broke after 248,000 miles, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm just like, damn, I'm gonna have to buy a new work car. And I was like, how much am I going to spend on that? Am I going to go get a new car? Am I going to make payments? And then I'm just like, fucking no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spend $3,000 and drive the fucking shit out of it until the wheels fall off. And then I
Right.
look, because I'm thinking $3,000, you're going to find a nice beater car. No, not now, not today,
Right.
not today. They want $5,000 for a Honda Civic from the early 2000s with 250,000 miles on it. I was like, y'all are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or just like square body Chevys, these fucking 90 to 95 square bodies that we used to just
Hmm.
pay $1,000 for. People want $10,000 for.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, y'all are so out of touch with reality. Like y'all hit
Yeah.
y'all's heads.
Yeah. So like a year ago, I went to a lot, just a little lot down here in Knoxville, and I forget what I was looking at, but my son saw an OBS Tahoe 2-wheel drive that was lowered, and it had flat tires. Like this thing was in the back. Like it looks like it used to be something, but they just parked it. And I mean, like it looked decent. I mean, the body looked decent, but it had flat tires. You could tell it'd been sitting there for a while. And he was like, "Dad, look at that." And I'm like, "Yeah, so those are rare because it's two-wheel drive." And so he's looking at it and he's like, "What do you think they want for it?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." So we asked the dude about it, and he's like, "Oh, that one?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like 12 grand. And I'm like, "Golly, for I mean, yeah, for a two-wheel drive full size. I mean, I know it's full size, but I'm like a two-wheel drive lowered Tahoe, two door, and I'm like 12 grand for that thing, and it's got flat tires. God knows if it even starts. If the rats have eaten out the wiring, like who knows all the things. But I mean, like 12 grand, and you're just gonna say it like it's
That's insane.
nothing. And I'm like, that's why
Oh
it's
yeah,
sitting
12,
there.
12 grand.
Jeez.
I would roast him relentlessly alive. I
Yeah.
would light him up.
Yeah. No way.
I'd laugh. I would laugh so hard.
It's crazy. So I'll tell you a story, and it's not. It doesn't make me look like the greatest human being in the world, but I mean, like, I guess that's the lot we pay in life sometimes as dads with big hearts. But so the story behind my 10-year-old, I started dating his mom in 2012, and everything was sort of, I mean, I guess mediocre. It was fine in the beginning. And in October of that year, she comes to me, and mind you, I was 25 at the time, and she would have been 20. And she comes to me in October, and she's like, "Listen, I just don't think this is working out." And I was like, "Okay, this sucks. I like you a lot, but okay." And come December, my brother at the time, I call him my brother. He's a really good friend of mine. He sends me a text message, and he's like, "Hey, uh, she's saying she's pregnant." And I'm like, "Okay." So I text her about it, and she's like, "No, that was a joke," because they work together. She said it was a joke, and that was that. And I was like, "Okay,
Waving the red
all right,
flag here.
yeah." Well, it gets worse. So January comes, and she calls me out of the middle of nowhere, and she's crying. She's upset, and she's like, "Listen, I got to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And she proceeds to tell me that she was pregnant and she got an abortion. And I was like, "Okay, all right." And I'm an empath by nature, and I've come to realize now that my empathy can be my to my detriment, because sometimes it just allows me to give excuses for people with bad behavior.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I loved her through it, and we ended up getting back together. And her birthday was in the very beginning of May, and towards the end of April, she started acting real weird. And then in the beginning of May, like her birthday was May 7th, I think, and a couple days before her birthday, she completely spazzed on me. I mean, freaked out, was berating me, yelling at me, screaming at me, telling me all these things. She's like, "I want nothing to do with you," blah, 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 blah. And I will always remember the words that I told her. And that is, "You're going to go out with your friends and you're going to get pregnant and you're going to come running back to me."
Ooh.
And she goes out with her friends on her 21st birthday. And then shortly, a few weeks later, she comes talking back to me. And she had this thing about wanting to fight with me when she wanted to feel good. She wanted to argue. Something about arguing in her just made her like feel good. I don't understand it. And I knew that, and I was like, "What are you doing right now?" She's like, I want you to argue with me. I want you to fight with me." And I'm like, "I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not here for this." So she proceeds to tell me that she is pregnant by this dude that she was talking to. He subsequently left her, went back to his baby mama, and now there's this whole drama between her and them about who's the daddy, because she knows he anyway. So it was a thing. So what did I do? I supported her through this pregnancy, and so my son's brother was born in January of 2014, and she was not. She was. How do I say this? I don't mean to sit here and sound like I'm bashing her, but my experience is my experience. But I was the one who stayed up at night and rocked him when he
So
couldn't fall asleep. And
my brain won't let it go. What January? What?
27th.
Damn, I'm 15.
Okay.
So close.
Okay. Yeah. So I was the one I was the one who stayed up with him at night. I'm the one who fed him when he woke up in the middle of the night. I was all the things. We tried to make it work. And in 20, I can't remember if it was 2014 or 2015 now, but anyway, we inevitably got married. And later in, so in December of 2014, I was kind of having thoughts on like, well, my youngest son at the time was 10, and I'm like, listen, if I want to have another one, I got to get on the ball of mine. And it's not sane. I guess it's not rational to have these thoughts, but in my head, I was like, well, if she ditches, I'm okay with it. I just want another son, or I want another kid.
Right.
So December, she gets pregnant. Subsequently, the following September, my son is born on September 12th.
I have dark humor. I was just like,
Yeah,
that's great. I'm
yeah,
gonna edit that out. I'm gonna edit
right, right,
that out.
right. But so he's born on September 12th, and it goes pretty well the same way. And at this time, she's a magistrate for the county, and I don't know if you know what that is, but basically, if somebody gets arrested, she's the one that the cops take them to, and she's the one who sets the bond and signs the
Yeah.
warrants and does all that type of thing. So she's a woman of power, and we go through our relationship, and uh, I could go into detail on that, but that's trauma. But anyway, um, we subsequently split up in 2017, and it was a knockdown, not physically, but I mean like it was a knockdown, drag out breakup. Like it was ugly. And at the end of it, she ends up chasing me around town and inevitably corners me at a state park. And she's like, "Listen, I didn't want this. I didn't want to be a mom. I didn't sign up for this. Like, what are you doing to me? Because at this point right now, like I'm leaving, and I have my son, and now she has this other child that I've raised, but she didn't really want in the first place. So she's kind of stuck there picking up the pieces with him. And she's like, well, all this other stuff. Well, after everything calms down and we actually like get some distance between us, she now mind you, we're still in the same town, but she goes about 2 years without seeing him, without seeing my son. And finally, when she decides to come back around, now mind you, my son was small. He was, 18 months, 2 years old. So from like 18 to 2 years old, somewhere in there, until when he was almost 5, he didn't really see her. And I know now in hindsight, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm great,
it's a very important time frame.
right? And when she inevitably came back around, he still knew who she was and whatnot, but it was different. And now here in the last few years, she's had a little bit more to do with him and stuff like that. But at her house, admittedly, like it's chaos. His older brother is like there's no bedtimes. There's no, she will leave. Now she has another baby with another man, and she has a daughter that's two, I think. But anyway, and so when my son goes over there, like he's with his brother alone a lot. And mind you, my son's 10, and his brother is, well, he'll be 13 next month. And so they're close in age, and they do a lot of the same things, but they don't. There's no bedtimes. Stay up how late ever they want to. His brother talks like a grown sailor, and I mean, like I swear, I know I do, but like his attitude his attitude, his demeanor, everything about that kid just rubs me the wrong way because I'm like this is you're 12 years old. Like somebody's got to get a rein on this kid. But not my monkey, not my circus type of thing. And there's nothing I can really do about it,
Yeah.
you know. But it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle.
So
Yeah.
with her, she kind of just lets you take the lead on the parenting and just
Yeah. Yeah. She's involved to a certain extent now because she tries to get him on the weekends and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm good with it because I mean, like my son is smart, intelligent, and emotionally fine. So I mean, like, and now he's old enough that he can tell me, you know, I'm going to go with mom this week, or I don't want to go because his brother's mean to
yeah.
him or whatever. And they go through that because there's times that his brother is just flat ass mean to him, and he's like, I don't want to go over there. Like, I don't want to go over there and deal with that. And I'm like, that's fine, that's fine. And he knows, and he'll tell me sometimes when he leaves, he's like, I know you'll come get me if I tell you to come get me. And I'm like, absolutely, I'll be there, because his brother
Yeah.
picks on him. And I know, I mean, I'm assuming, but I know his brother probably has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because my son has me, and his dad is a not so great person somewhere else that doesn't have anything to do with him. And, I'm sure that he deals with that his own way. But at the same time, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about it. So,
No, there's not.
yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like out of any scenario there, that really worked out in your favor.
Oh, sure.
Being
Yeah.
being able to take the lead and be the primary parent, especially if there's a if the other parent's being flaky or not fully committed, the only thing it does is damage the kids. So
Oh, yeah.
her taking that step back and letting you take the lead probably changed the course of your son's life so much more than
Oh, yeah.
at the time you probably realized. Now
Yeah.
later on that he's 10, you can see the results of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, because I
Oh, yeah.
mean, I talk to dads, I see it, and not only that, but with my own son winning custody for him, and uh, him being with me and just having me as a steady person. I mean, it was way better for him than what he was going to have to go through if he still had split custody with his mom.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it it,
And
it is altering, and I mean, you even see it in the example with your son's older brother.
yeah.
I mean, it makes a difference, and in the
Oh, yeah.
stability and the mental maturity of boys,
Yeah.
especially boys.
Yeah. And I
Because
mean, like,
the most.
yeah.
No, you're
So,
good. Go ahead.
and I see it a lot because, like, my dad, I tell people all the time, my mother raised me with all the love, and my dad raised me with all of the tough love. And like my mom was always the one that was kind to me and tried to do those types of things, but my dad was the one who was like, fuck your feelings, I need you to come outside right now and help me with this right now.
Hold
I
that
don't
fucking
care how
flashlight.
I don't care how cold it is. I don't care how long you got to be out there. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are, how small you are, anything. I need you outside right now with me. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, like me and my dad had it out because I was born with older parents. My parents were in their 40s when they had me. And so, yeah. And so I didn't get the hugs from him. I didn't get the attaboys. I didn't get the I'm proud of you. I didn't get anything like that from my dad. And growing up, I always told myself, I'm going to be the complete opposite of my dad. Whenever I'm a dad, I'm just going to be the complete opposite. I'm going to think about it and I'm going to say, whatever he would do in this situation, I'm going to do the opposite. And because my dad was an alcoholic when I was younger, and he got over that and recovered from it. But I mean, like I still have my memories from when he was tyrannical. But anyway, uh, I see that now in my sons because like my sons are completely like open with me about everything. Like they'll come to me about anything. They come to me with their feelings. They come to me with everything. And I noticed it because like my 20-year-old will still hug me like he did when he was 6 years old, and he doesn't care who it's in front of. He doesn't care where we're at. He will tell me he loves me. He will do all those things, and
Yep.
he doesn't care a bit in the world to do that. And I love that. And I mean, like I
I'm the
try to,
same. I'm the same way with my dad.
yeah,
We both work on the same plant. If I see him and we get lunch or something together, I still give him a hug, tell him I love
yeah,
him in front of everybody. I don't care.
yeah,
It's an important. It shows how good of a dad you were.
right. And so, and I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? Like there's no shame in my game. I'm glad that my sons are that emotional towards me. Like, give it to me, because in the grand scheme of things, like I feel like, and this is not news to anybody, but men crave a safe space because we have
Oh
to be
yeah.
hard all the time. All the time we have to be hard, and especially at home. Like there are so many men out there that just want a safe space. It's not necessarily that we want to cry. It's not necessarily that we want to talk about our feelings and all of these things, but we want to be able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I can't tell
we
you,
don't want to come home to a battle.
right? Because I can't tell you how many times that I've been told that I'm too much, I'm too deep, and all of these things. And it took me a long time in finding the right person to realize that there are people out there that you can create safe spaces with, that you're not going to
Oh
be
yeah.
too deep for or too much or any of those things. And it's a big deal. Yeah.
It's that, and also when you find someone who you can be open with and everything like that. The other problem is a lot of times, especially now, you'll think you're in a safe space and you'll think you find somebody, and like you said, all of a sudden you're too much, or the emotions that you did speak on, or the traumas you processed, or whatever it is that you talk to them about gets thrown at you when they're mad at you.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
happens.
for
That
sure.
happens a lot too.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
I think we're seeing a big change, and statistically it's true too, of how active dads are now.
Mhm.
And that's whether we're talking about just the single father side of things, or we're talking about just how active the fathers are at home versus the moms. I mean, we're seeing a huge change in those things. It's
Right.
changing, and
Yeah.
for the better, in my opinion.
Sure.
Well,
And I know.
just like you, for example. I mean, you were an active dad all the way from the very beginning, and then when the other parent said, I didn't want this, you stepped up and said, "Well, I do,"
Right.
and
Yeah.
you put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
I mean.
I see it a lot with young dads.
Mhm.
I see it a lot with young dads, and I guess I would include myself in that because I guess I'm still young.
Yeah.
Uh, I talk to these young men who are in their they're 19, 20, and sometimes 18, and they message me after they listen to whether it's like the things I wish I knew before I was a dad episode, and they message me asking these questions, and they were like, what's the one thing I need to know before I become a dad? And I was just like, time. I was like, invest your time in your kids. I was like,
Yeah.
time is money, absolutely. Like you're a provider now. You gonna bust ass. You gonna have to provide that money. I was like, but provide your time with those kids too. It's not just
Yeah.
about the money. You need to be
Right.
present with your kids, and
Yeah.
if you pour yourself into your kids and you're giving them your time and you're active and you're present, that's the best
Mhm.
dad you can be ever.
Oh yeah.
Because the kids don't.
Yeah.
I've made TikToks about it. The kids don't care about the overtime. They don't care about the money. They don't care about any of those
Yep.
things. My kids hate it when I work overtime.
Oh yeah.
Because my oldest knows that he can go to the side of the fridge and he can see what my schedule is for the month. And if I say I'm working and it's on a day that I'm not supposed to be, he calls me out so fast. He's
Right.
like, you're supposed to be off today. You're supposed to be off for 7 days right now." And I'm like, "I know, buddy." He's just like, "But you're going to work." I was like, "But I'm going to work." He's just like, "That's not right. You shouldn't be working."
Yeah. 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 But you're absolutely right,
It's a
man.
constant thing.
Yeah. And I mean that I mean especially in the blue collar era, or not era, but in the blue collar field, because you've got a lot of guys that don't come home every night, whether
Yeah.
you're gone for a week at a time or whether you're gone for months at a time, and it's a struggle because there's a lot of guys out there who want to be present fathers and present dads, and they can't. And then when they get home, they come home for a few days and they've got to handle business with the wife or business with the lady or business with the other parent or whatever that looks like. And the time that you get to be able to spend with those kids is so small, but at the same time, it's so significant. And it creates pressure inside you because you're like, shit, I
Yeah.
can't do all of this at the same time. And it's a struggle because I know a lot of blue collar guys who don't get to spend a lot of time with their kids, but really struggle with it. And they feel like they're between a rock and a hard place because what's the alternative? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do, especially in the blue collar world, you see it a lot. I have a
Yeah.
couple buddies that are over the road drivers,
Mhm.
and they want to be a local driver so bad, but the money isn't good enough, so they can't do it.
Right.
And their biggest regret is the time they lose with their kids. Same with my
Oh
military
yeah.
buddies that deploy and things like that. They
Yeah.
just they want to be there for their kids, but everybody has to provide. Every dad has to provide, and
Yeah.
it's the
Some.
greatest strength and greatest weakness all at the same time
Yeah.
is having to
Yeah.
be the provider. It's a
Yeah.
double-edged sword no matter what you do. Because then
Mhm.
I've made videos and I've talked about it, but there's such a fine line between being a good provider and being a neglectful father.
Right.
It's such a fine line, and people don't realize it.
Yeah.
And whenever I talk to these guys, they're like, "Yeah, I've been working 85-hour weeks for so many weeks and everything." And I was like, "How much time have you spent with your kids?" They're like, "None." I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Well, I have to work." I was like, "I understand." I was like, "What do you do when you get home?" They're just like, "Oh, well, I shower, eat, and go to bed." I was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, I'm tired." I was like, "So those kids don't care."
Yeah.
And I say this from somebody. I work those shifts.
Oh
I
yeah.
work 12 and a halves with an hour, sometimes hour 30-minute drive home. So I leave the
Yeah.
house at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't get back till 7:30, 8 o'clock. But the
Mhm.
moment I'm home and I walk in, those kids run to me. I'm dad until they go to bed. All my
Yeah.
shit can wait.
Yeah.
And that something as simple as that will change the way your kids look at you. Because especially
Sure.
once they get older, they know why you're going to work.
Yeah.
They know why you're not home, but they're going to remember the time that you invested afterwards or how you acted when you got home from work. Those are the things they're going to remember because we
Oh
all know
yeah.
that person who, when their dad came home, their dad ate, showered, went to bed, and then you had to be quiet because dad was sleeping or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't. That's not the way to go about it. That's not the way
Yeah.
to go about it. And
And I
it
go ahead.
it always comes down to these guys ask me, they're like, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't stop these hours. I was just like, well, what are you doing to get a better job? They're just like, oh, well, I have it good. I have all these hours. I said, I didn't talk about the hours. I talked about the money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing to get it to where you make the same money, but you don't have to work those hours? They're like, well, that's not possible. I said, bullshit. I
Right.
said, what do you mean it's not possible? Then they tell me, and I was just like, "You're a laborer making $18 an hour for a construction company." I was just like, "Why aren't you trying to push for more money?" I was like,
Mhm.
"There's other jobs that you can do." I was like, "Plumbers, unions." I was like, "There's so many other options, but you're so caught up working those hours, you don't realize that you can do better."
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I get into that argument with blue collars all the time. I'm just like, "You're just compliant because you're getting big paychecks."
Yeah.
I was like, but those big paychecks are you're putting your time in, you're getting the money, but you're losing the time with your kids. So you need to find a
Yeah.
way to make your time more valuable to
Mhm.
where you can spend more time with your kids.
Yep. That's it. But nobody wants to hear that because that's work.
No, but I'm gonna tell them anyway.
Right.
It's what I
Yeah.
do.
I get, I mean, so there's this whole like do it anyway movement that I've seen on TikTok. There's a bunch of guys out there that are saying, XYZ, do it anyway. And
Yep.
there's a whole lot of truth to that. And I can understand how it would kind of create an internal kind of battle in you because you're like, I am tired. And I kind of am tired of doing it anyway because nobody appreciates it and this, that, and the other. Because you can get messed up inside your head with your significant other on whether, because things get gray sometimes, because relationships have their ups and downs and whatever.
Hmm.
but there is a lot of truth to the do it anyway when it comes to your kids, because your kids know what they want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you go up to them and you're like, if you had an hour with me today, what would you want to do? They wouldn't hesitate. They would know. I want you to play a game with me. I want you to go outside. I want to go on a walk with you. I don't know what they might say, but they're going to tell you something. There is no lack in their head of, I don't know what I would do with my dad. I don't know. That doesn't register to them.
Zero
They
thing.
know. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that has to be a conversation that you have to have, because you know what I mean? Like you and I'm not, I know there's a lot of people out there, and I guess in reality, maybe I'm one of them, but they will prioritize their SOs over their kids. You know what I mean? Like if me and mom are happy, then everybody's happy, and I respect that,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I agree with that. But if you really feel like you're struggling to spend time with your kids, then have that conversation with your SO and be like, listen, when I come home, it's important to me that I spend some time with them because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
struggling right now. And yeah, I mean, as long as you've got the right person, I don't feel like anybody would have a problem with that. But
No.
you have to prioritize that, man.
There is a truth to pouring into when you and your spouse, especially if you're with your kid's mom or just stepmom, whatever you, however you want to word things. It is true that when you pour into each other and you take care of each other, it trickles down to the betterment of the kids. That is true.
Right,
In a healthy relationship.
right, exactly,
I
exactly.
definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a
And
distinction
it's,
there.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's the way you worded that was really good about how if you asked your kids if you had a free hour what they would want to do, they know exactly what they would want to do.
Yeah,
I can tell you exactly. My Poppy outside, Liam outside, or number blocks, something
right.
with number blocks, or painting, and then
Yeah,
Damon, One Piece. He's gonna want to sit down and just watch One Piece with me or
yeah,
play drums.
right.
And it's one of those things. Like your time is precious, but the time with them is priceless. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Mhm. 100%.
Just like today. Uh, today I have to go paint with my son at his school. It's Paint with Parents Day,
Yeah,
and he wasn't sure if I'd be able to come because he never knows if I'm working or what I have going on or the siblings. Because whenever I'm off work, their mom isn't here. It's just me, and their aunt is here to help too. But uh, it's it's all in turmoil right now. But whenever I looked at him and I said, "No, buddy, I'm gonna be there for your Paint with Parents Day," he got so happy
oh yeah,
because no matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, whether it's navigating being a single dad again, or it's navigating work, or the podcast, or the things that I have going on, or just trying to be human and having friends. Um, Showing up for your kids is the most important thing. And you see
oh
those
yeah,
videos that you can see it like on TikTok too, and it's like the importance of showing up. It's that kid on stage at a school event, and
at,
he's about to
at the
sing or
musical, and
whatever,
he's
and he's
looking
just standing
around.
there,
Yep.
and then he sees his parents, and the way he just completely changes.
Yeah.
That it's not just that's a big moment, but it's those little moments too that it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like
Oh
nobody
yeah.
wants to be that kid at these small school events where their parents don't show up.
Right.
Showing up for your kids is the most important thing. And
Oh
and
yeah.
my work knows it. My work if I have something going on with the kids, it doesn't matter if they tell me I need to come into work, I'm not going to be there.
Right.
When it comes, I don't care if I'm not getting paid. If
Yeah.
it comes to my kids, I'm gonna be there for my kids
Yeah.
always.
For sure.
And
100%.
I'm lucky enough to be able to do that because I know there's some dads that can't do that. I was
Mhm.
I, at a I built it to this point, but I there were times where I missed everything.
Yeah.
I missed the first like and with I hate talking about them, but I mean there's a lot of firsts that I missed,
Yeah.
and like I've this year was the first Halloween I was off work and got to spend Halloween with my two youngest.
Yeah.
and Liam's 4.
Mhm.
And I can't recall a single Christmas I've been off.
Right.
I've always had to. I always leave and help Santa. That's what I tell the kids.
Right. Yeah.
And I've built it to the point where I can now always be there. If within reason, I can always be there and show up for my kids.
Yeah.
Um, and especially now that I'm a single dad, it's even more important that I always step up because I will always be a constant for my kids.
Mhm.
And it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard standard to hold yourself to,
Yeah.
as especially as a blue collar and as a
Mhm.
provider. It's a hard
Yeah.
standard to hold yourself to. But I always tell dads, and whenever they tell me, they say excuses or they tell me, different things, I always say, I was like, your kids don't care, dude.
Yeah.
All they care about is that you show up. They don't care about the
Mhm.
money. They don't care about the overtime. They don't care about presents under the tree. Of course, kids do care about presents under the tree, but
Right.
they would rather you be there when you open. They'd rather. I guarantee you, they'd rather get less presents and you be there on Christmas morning than have a bunch of presents and you not be there.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's about the time. It's about being present. It's about showing up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't I can't stress that
100%.
enough with people with dads, especially blue collars. We're
Yeah.
stubborn as hell.
Yeah.
You get a blue collar that's making lottery ticket checks, $2,000-3,000 checks. He's going to keep chasing those checks. I've done it. I've gotten tunnel vision with
Mhm.
money. I've got it where I was working 6 days a week, and my kid's mom was just like, "You're never here," and I'm just like, "I'm sorry," and I would keep working.
Mhm.
I've done it. I've
Yeah.
done it, and especially now that I'm a single dad. I have a village. I do. I have a great village. My
Yeah.
kid's aunt is here, and she's a constant in their lives. She helps them. My parents and their grandparents. I have an amazing village around me that allows me to still have friends. Work if I need to work overtime, I can work overtime when it's here because it hasn't been here in a long fucking time. It's aggravating,
Right.
but
Right.
I have that village to where I can hold myself to this standard, and
Yeah.
not everyone has that,
Right. Yeah.
and I feel like people need to remember that your village doesn't have to be your family; it can be your friends too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because my friends, a lot of my friends know, dude. If it's music related, and my son's out of school, dude, I'm bringing him. He loves it, but
Right.
I remember distinctly whenever I became a parent, even at a young age, I lost a lot of friends.
Oh yeah.
And then whenever I quit drinking and I wasn't going out anymore, I lost a lot more friends. And then my
Yeah.
circle was I had like 3 buddies left.
Yeah. Yep. It's a battle.
It,
It's a battle for
it's a
sure.
battle.
Yeah.
What do you think was the hardest part about being a young dad for you?
Um. Probably the hardest part for me was probably figuring out how to have a relationship with him and his mom and work all at the same time. And because when he was a baby, he was a baby and I was young and I didn't really understand the importance of uh like spending quality time with a baby because I was like,
Yeah,
he's not doing anything. He's just,
he's
he's
just
sitting
he's
in
just
his
laying
little
there, dude. Like
bouncer. Yeah.
what?
He's sitting in his bouncer or, eventually he's doing a little, butt crawls where he's moving back and forth and he's not crawling, but he wants to. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And I think at the time I was struggling because I felt like I was spinning my wheels. Like I'm not like the bills are barely getting paid. I'm not spending that much time with him, and when it is, he's just chilling. And
Yeah,
it was a struggle because I was like, I could be doing better, I could be doing more, I could be doing all of those things. And
yeah,
I feel like in hindsight, it was just my mentality because I didn't feel like what I was doing was enough I didn't feel like what I was doing was, like hitting the mark and being there and stuff like that. And I think it was just my age and my lack of experience with good, healthy people, and not necessarily in relationships, but good, healthy dads, good, healthy, other couples and things like that. Because fact of the matter is, just being there and enjoying your kid and doing those types of things, if you can pay the bills and be able to have that little quality time with them, like that's enough. It really is enough. There doesn't have to
Amen.
be a whole lot more. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard because there's a lot of other men out there that feel the same way. Like I'm not doing enough.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm able to be at home for, XYZ amount of days or hours or what have you, but it's just not enough. And you have to have that realization that it is enough. It is enough. Like, just spend that time with them. Even though you may
Yeah.
feel like, you're not making a difference or it doesn't make a difference or what have you. But I mean, like having that mentality of saying, listen, this is enough. We don't have to chase so much more. There doesn't have to be all of this other stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. That's accurate. I think I feel like that's a common struggle with dads
yeah,
in that newborn baby stage. It's what what like you're holding them and you're like what do we do? Like what do
yeah,
we do? And it's just like you're poking their nose and they're just looking at you like what the fuck. And it's
yeah,
like it.
yeah,
A lot of dads I feel like struggle to connect with the baby. You know, because
yeah,
we don't. A lot of men, most men don't have that like baby nurturing side of them. Like we're all, most of us are like sitting there waiting until they're toddlers, and we're just like, oh yeah, time to wrestle, time to
right,
WWD on the couch.
right,
But
yeah,
when those moments start coming around, it's like you get hype. Like I'm starting to.
yeah,
We have a ball pit, and I'll put all the balls in it, and I'm like sitting there like doing triple flips with my daughter and like catching her and dropping her in the balls. Like
yeah,
those moments are what dads start really getting excited for. But prior to that, a lot of dads neglect's not the word, but we fail to realize the importance of dads in those moments.
oh yeah,
I feel like a lot of us do, and
yeah,
myself included. Because like for my oldest son, before I won custody, the first couple months of his life, I was 19. Me and the mom were together. It was high conflict, and she wouldn't let me see him.
mhm,
So then once I fought hard enough and I did start getting him, it was like, okay, what do I do? Because I didn't
yeah,
have that maternal instinct. She didn't. She didn't either. Okay, she didn't either.
right,
We were young. Um,
yeah,
the hell was that noise? Uh, she didn't either. And so once I started getting them, I remember because I lived it. We call it the trap house, okay? And any of my family that listens to this, because some of them do, they know which house I'm talking about. When we all turned 18 and we graduated, we moved right up the road, right like you could throw a rock and hit the house from my dad's house, and we moved right up the road. It was a 4 bedroom, 2 bath house, and we all the siblings moved in together.
mhm,
It was terrible.
oh gosh,
Terrible because we all had girlfriends. So our girlfriends and my sister's boyfriend was living with us. So there's like 8 young adults living in this house together.
right, yeah, it's a
And
mess.
yeah, yeah. And then I had a kid, and I was just like, hey, you gotta clean. I was like, this has to stay clean. I was like, no more beer bongs in the living room.
Right.
Like I remember going through this change as a young man and life changing. And I had the bassinet in my room. I had the crib. I had all these toys. I was buying stuff because like the provider part of me clicked,
Yeah.
but the nurturing side of me didn't because I was just like, what do I do with this small human? I was like, do I buy these toys? It says 2 years old. I can't buy that toy yet. What do I do? What how does this work? And it was I I didn't give it as much attention to the nurturing side of things as I should have.
Yeah.
And I didn't I was present, but I could have done a better job. And I know I did a better job with my two older ones because I was older, and their mom had a very good maternal instinct. She was a great mom.
Yeah.
Um, so I gotta watch and learn a lot from her too. And I did a good job with my oldest. My parents stepped in. I won full custody. So at that point, I didn't have a fucking choice
Right.
because I filed that emergency motion. And I was like, "You're not going back." And at the time, he had just turned 3 whenever I filed that emergency motion. He's 8 now.
Yeah.
But I made sure I was always a constant in his life.
Yeah.
But with my two youngest ones, I was very active when they were little, and I feel like I can definitely, like, my son loves me. He the whole time, run, Dad, he's home, all that. Like, we had that relationship, and especially at the 1.5, 2 stage with my oldest, like, at that point, the relationship between son and dad shifts because then it's time to
Yeah.
play. We're gonna have fun,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and but with my two little ones, especially my daughters are different. Daughters are different. The nurturing side
mhm.
really clicked with my daughter.
Yeah.
That's my little girl. I was the one getting. I would get up. I would do all those things. Especially with swing shift, I was used to just staying up. So mom during the day, me all night. If I had work, it didn't matter. I'd be up 3 4 days straight, just powering
Yeah.
through, taking care of that little girl,
Right.
and with a
And,
boy.
yeah. And there's a whole lot of, like, as I grew up and went through different relationships and inevitably go through my own little therapy and all this other stuff. There's some things that I guess I was ignorant to when I was younger, and it goes back to not having those people around you, not having healthy people around you, and it's the fact that in those years between like birth and 8, there is a lot that a kid learns from their mother and a lot that their kid learns from their father as far as emotional intelligence and how they handle certain things like that. So being present in those moments that you feel like nothing's going on, nothing matters, and all of those things is super pivotal for them because they learn so much in those formative years from you and how to handle situations and how to handle their emotions and all of those things. And I think there's a lot of people that gets lost on because you feel like you need to work and you need to do these things and stuff like that, and these kids can get uh, twisted inside from not having anybody around and having to mull these feelings over on their own.
Hmm.
So there's
Yeah,
that.
and I think the biggest thing too is uh, I've been hearing it a lot on TikTok. You have people talk about emotional intelligence and
Uh huh.
how one of the biggest problems now is people lack emotional intelligence.
Right.
Uh, I would argue it's more than emotional intelligence because a lot of people are emotionally intelligent, but they're emotionally immature.
Right.
I think emotional immaturity is where it lacks. And Chris from To Be Better talked about this. Um, you can have the emotional intelligence, but being able to implement it is where the emotional maturity comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think emotional maturity is something that a lot of people lack, and it's one of the things that isn't taught as much. Because, like, with my kids, like, I don't pop my kids. I don't spank them. But, well, especially with my oldest son because of the trauma he had to go through. Spanking him didn't work, and all of us try to raise our kids the best we know, which is most of the time from our parents. So I was getting my ass spanked as a kid,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah. Me
wasn't
too.
that wasn't going to work with my son. So I had to figure it out, and so I'm very much get on their level, talk to them, and take we call it magic breaths, and you
Yeah.
take 10 big deep breaths, and it's the magic
Yeah.
breaths, and I get on their level and we talk about it and try to teach them that emotional regulation and just the difference you'll see in the kids from just getting on their level and talking to them
Mhm.
is so different from what people because you see the different parenting styles the more you're around other people with kids and you see the people that just yell at their kids You
Mhm.
see the people that spank their kids, and then you see the people that treat their kids with I won't say equal because you're their parent. It's not like I don't treat my kids as equals, but
Dignity.
when you get down to their level and you look them in the eye and you calmly talk to them and you explain things and you work through things together and
Mhm.
you let them get their emotions out and you get their breaths and you calm them down and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, why are you feeling this way? Or I understand why you're feeling this way because I did this, because there was a consequence to this. Let's talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
that is that is going to change the way this new generation is going to be, because it's not the because I said so shit anymore. And
Mhm.
it's not the I'll give you a reason to cry about, or I'll give you
Right.
something to cry about, or the suck it up boys don't cry shit. That shit's
Yeah.
it's going away. And it's
Mhm.
going to change this next generation of young men
Yeah.
as far as their emotional maturity goes,
Yeah.
and the way they handle things. It's gonna be game changing, versus
Right.
like the generation that I'm a part of, where you have either the men that put in the work and unlock their emotions and figure out how to process things, or you have the dudes that are fuckheads and it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like those are
Yep.
the Kyles that bottle everything up and explode and punch holes in the walls. Like there's like
Right.
this big cut. There's like a huge rift, and like one of my friends, she's a great person, great human. She takes care of kids, and she's very active in raising kids and everything like that. Even though she's not a parent herself, and I'm wording it specifically to protect her privacy. Um, she hates men. Oh my
Yeah.
god, she hates men, and it's so
Yeah.
funny when me and her talk, because she'll sit here and she tells me reasons why she hates men. She'll give examples, and it's so funny because she'll be giving these examples, and it's just like, no, I hate them too. I was like, oh, every example you're giving, I hate them too. I was like, here's why they act that way. Here's probably what happened. Here's how they can get better. And it's always so funny because we're on such opposite sides of the coin.
Mhm.
Because she hates them, and then here I am with this podcast, and what I try to do is I try to help men be better. I try to
Yeah.
help dads be better. I try to give dads a free space to talk and tell our stories, because a lot of us don't have a place to tell our stories, and so many dads feel alone, and that was the point of this podcast. And it's always so funny to me to see the opposite sides of the coin from
Mhm.
what like my generation of men and like our age of men, the difference between the two,
Mhm.
and just it's always such a contrast when I talk to her. I love it. I love it,
Yeah.
because I'll just
Oh
be like,
yeah.
hey, what do you think about this? And she'll just be like, she'll lay it all out, and I'll just be like, I see that. I was like, here's what I can do to see if I can fix that. Like, try to help
Yeah.
this person with their learned behaviors, or
Yeah.
even just like if I need advice, I'll just be like, hey, let me know if I'm being a stupid man here.
Right.
And because if anybody's going to call me out, it's going to be her. So if I
Right.
need to logically rethink something so that I can understand it better, or I can be better about it, she's one of my go-to people. She's great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. I think it's important to have people like that in your life, because there are times that you just have questions and you're like, I need to know if I'm being rational right now or if I'm not,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. And that's I call it my stupid man questions with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, you gotta have friends that'll call you out.
Oh yeah,
I
for
have I
sure.
have dad friends, and I'll call them out in a heartbeat, and they know I will too. If they're
Mhm.
fucking up, I'm gonna tell them they're fucking up. I've had friends that won't come around me because they know the moment they do, I'm gonna tell them they're fucking up.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
important to have friends like that.
Yeah. And there's also that distinction of people who know they're doing XYZ wrong or whatever and just refuse to change.
Yeah, refusing to change is a problem.
And
It's
you know what I mean?
especially you gotta be willing to put the work in as a parent.
Right.
Not taking care of yourself and not putting the work into yourself is a detriment to your kids,
Oh
especially if
yeah.
you're a dad, and especially to your boys.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what are you showing your kids if you're not taking care of yourself and your mental health? Like
Yeah.
what example is that for your boys?
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, like, I can. We all know women who hate men, and they all have their stories, and they all have. I mean, some of them have legitimate stories. I'm like, listen, I know you've
Oh
been
yeah.
treated like trash. I get it, and I know that you feel like 99.9% of men are trash, and you might have known a couple that were good, but they were your uncle or somebody who just really poured into you. You know, and I get
Mm-hmm.
it. I really do. But and I mean, I know there's always two sides to a coin because I mean, like I've got my own stories about women and whatnot. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to foster the good relationships you can and recognize the ones that you can't change and have the discernment and the distinction to let go of the people that you can't change and that don't serve you, you know?
Yeah. That's
But
that's a
yeah,
big part of it. It's a big part of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think it's such a crazy contrast. And like for you having a 20-year-old and a 10-year-old, how big was your parenting style different between the two as you got more mature and got older?
Oh, I mean, it was night and day. I feel like because it's like you said, you know, when I was 18 and learning everything, you know, I mean, I was, for lack of a better way to put it, I was raw dog in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I had my second son, I was like, okay, I'm starting from experience. I'm seasoned now. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And there was also a period that it was a little different because, you know, I never had to raise my 20-year-old by myself.
Mm.
And my 10-year-old, there's been a big portion of his life. I mean, even up until now, I mean, like, I have him all the time. He's with me 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and and it makes it a little different. Of course, my emotional intelligence is way more than it was when I was, you know, 18 and even in my 20s. Not that I was some tyrannical asshole when I was in my 20s, but I mean, like, understanding my emotions and helping him understand his emotions. Like, I was on the phone with somebody the other day and my son was having a hard time. His brother was texting him and he was being super mean to him, and he comes up to me and he's upset and he's explaining to me why he's upset, and I'm talking to him about it. And you know, he's getting a little emotional about it because I'm like, listen, you know, you're okay to have these feelings. You know, he's actively being mean to you. You know what I mean? I know he's your brother. You care about him, and all these types of things. And I'm walking him through it. And afterwards, the person that I was on the phone with was like, "Do you realize what you're doing?" And I'm like, well, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just sitting here on the couch and I'm talking to him about what he's got going on. And she was telling me, she was like, "You're being a really good dad right now." She's like, you know, because he comes up to me and he's upset. He's upset because his brother's being super rude to him. He's being mean. He's swearing at him. He's doing all this other stuff, calling him names and just being mean to him. And she was like, you handled it so well. She was like, you were calm. You talked to him. You helped him, you know, understand his feelings about it and why he feels the way he does, and you know, it helped him understand it all. And she's like, I don't know if you know this, but there's not a lot of men like that. She's like, there's not a lot
Mm.
of dads who show that kind of emotional restraint and care and all of those things in situations like that. Because I guess it would have been easy for me to fly off the handle, text his mom and be like, get a hold of your kid because he's being mean to his, you know, my son over here, and just to go off the rails and tell my son to be mean back or any number of the things that I could have told him to do. But I never really thought about how I was being as a dad until I was on the phone with somebody while I was doing it, and they were like, "Hey, listen, you know, you're doing a good job." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I appreciate
Similar
that."
thing happened to me recently, and I was just like, oh, thanks. Like I
Yeah,
got it. It like I didn't realize that I guess as a dad I struggle giving myself credit. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't it's yeah, it's one of the things I struggle with. Like I in
yeah,
my head I'm just trying to be a good dad, but I I always think I'm striving to be a good dad, and I fail to give myself credit for the moments I am a good dad.
Right.
So very
Right.
very similar. I was on the phone with somebody, and I stopped, and I was talking my son through something, or like when I was on live, and I got on Poppy's level, and I was just talking to her and calming her down, and she's 2, so it's like she's gonna have moments where she flies off the handle, and it's because her popsicle fell off the stick. And
Right.
even those moments, I'm like, hey, it's okay, talk to me, what's going on? She's like, popsicle fell, and I was like, it's okay, let's get another one, and
Yeah.
things like that. And people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're such a good dad," and I was just like, "Or popsicle fell off the stick. I'd be upset about that too. Like that's where my
Right.
head goes. It's not a good
Hmm.
dad moment." And
Yeah.
so many of us fail to just recognize when we're doing a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you,
It's true.
you've done a hell of a job. You've gone through some shit, but here you are, and we're sitting here having this conversation, and like you need to realize you did a good job and you're a good dad.
Right.
But
Right.
most of the
And
time
it's for
we won't give ourselves credit for that shit.
right. And even after hearing it, like it's hard for it to really sink in because I'm like, it's not. It's not. I don't want to say it's not normal, but there's not a lot of people who go out there and say, "Listen, you're doing a good job as a dad."
No,
You know, I mean, those
men
aren't
don't talk about
conversations
that.
that happen. Yeah, those aren't conversations.
I I
In
re- I remember a very specific moment recently with where everything I've been going through and what I've had going on. I was talking about the way I was being treated and how I felt crazy because I was being treated this way, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was valid,
hmm
and I didn't. In my head, I knew I was being treated wrong, and I should have been treated better. But I didn't feel like those feelings were valid. And I was talking to that person, and she was just like, "The way you're feeling is valid because you should be being treated better, and that is
right,
wrong, and you do deserve better." And I remember tearing up because it was just like, so I'm not crazy.
right,
And I was being, I was told I was doing a good job and I was a good dad. And I remember it hit me, and it felt like it had been so long since I had been validated, and also it felt like it had been a long time since someone just said they were proud of me. And I know I'm
yeah,
not the only dad to feel that way. I know there's so
oh
many
yeah,
of us that feel that way.
yeah, oh yeah. And it feels good in the moment, but at the same time, like I said, it's hard for it to really sink in because I mean, like I don't look in the mirror enough and tell myself you're doing a good job. Not
Yeah,
not that you're doing enough, and not that you're doing all that, but to look in the mirror and say, listen, you're doing good.
yeah,
You are not even, you are not less than, but you are doing good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And yeah, it's a thing.
It's hard, man.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's
for
hard to
sure.
do. It's hard to give yourself credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to take praise too. It's not. It's not easy. Like
Mhm.
when people on my live, or like my friends will be in my live or something, and they'll just be like, "You're doing a really good job," and I'm like, "Shut up!" I'll start crying. It's like, leave me
Right.
alone.
Yeah, yeah. I get
Like
it.
you probably heard it too. I'll just be like, "You're such a good dad, thank you," and I'm just like, "Shut up."
Right.
I do it
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Uh,
I get it.
because one, I don't know how to take it, but also I get emotional because it
Right.
means so much to me when I hear those things.
Right.
And
Because
like
you.
I give these when dads are talking to me and I'm telling them they're doing a good job. Like for me, I'm just it's just me telling them these things because they're doing a good job,
Yeah.
and they get emotional, and I'm just like, dude, what's wrong? And they're just like, yeah, it's just it means so much to me to hear that, and it's easy for me to look at those moments as just a happy moment, but for them, how long has it been since they were told that?
Yeah. Some of them have never been. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like my dad died 5 years ago, and I mean, like when he passed, I was the last person to talk to him. He told me he loved me, and I told him I loved him back. And I mean, like that's a memory that I'll never forget and always cherish. But uh, And for the last probably 10 to 12 years of his life, him and I had a different relationship. You know, we were better than it was when I was younger.
Yeah.
And, but still at the same time, like my dad never in the 33 years that I was born, never once looked at me and told me, I'm proud of you. Never
Yeah.
once told me, this, that, and the other. And I can tell you all the things. Like I was the only person and I've got four older sisters, but I was the only person to walk the line for my graduation in high school. I was the only person to have any post-secondary education. I was all of these things. And I never got that look from my dad to say, listen, I'm proud of you. He was always one to say, you could be doing better, or this is where you're messing up, or, this, that, and the other. Like he was always full of those, like, you could do better. You need to do this different. You need to get this part of your life together. You need to do X, Y, Z. And he was always full of those, but he was never full of, I'm proud of you where you're at right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
I don't say that, I don't say that to diminish him or any of that, but I say that to say that like that's something that I distinctly pour into my kids and saying, listen, I am proud of you right now where you're at and who you are as a human being. I can't tell you how many times I've sent my 20-year-old random messages like that just to tell him, hey, listen, I'm proud of you, period.
I
I'm proud of you
my
right now.
literal phone screen whenever I'm struggling is a text from my dad on Father's Day. And I had texted him and I said, Happy Father's Day, Pops. Thanks for being my dad. I love you. And he said, Happy Father's Day, son. Proud of you. Keep up the good work.
Right. Yeah.
Because whenever I'm struggling, I see that text. And my
Hmm.
dad tells me he's proud of me, uh, yeah, fairly often. But
Right.
it hits different. And just like
Yeah.
you, I intently pour that into my, like, that pride that I have for my kids. I pour that into them. Like
Right.
if they do something that's awesome, like my 4 year old, he's so smart. It's ridiculous. He like learning his times tables right now at 4,
Hmm.
and like he'll come up to me and he'll be talking to me, and I'm just like, dude, that's so cool. I'm proud of you. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how small it is,
Right.
but it's important to pour that into your kids, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a new thing. It's a very intentional thing that this new generation of dads, like I say new generation, but like dads from like the past 15, 20 years have been doing, because a lot of them didn't have that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be game changing for this next
Oh,
generation.
yeah.
Like when our kids have kids, it's gonna be
Yeah.
different. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing is like when we talk to our friends as men, other male friends that we have, like you're having conversations just about life or whatever. I I think it's fair to say that there are not a lot of conversations about being a dad. I think we're talking about life. I think we're talking about what's going on at work. We're talking about, X, Y, Z, but I can't tell you if I've ever had a conversation with another dad and him looked at me or we had a conversation about that, just being a dad, how things are going or going over struggles with your kid or any of those types of things. So when people come to us and talk to us about how we're being a dad, it's almost like a foreign conversation. You're like, we don't talk about this. Like dads don't talk about this. We don't go up to our friends and say, hey, listen, I see you being a good dad. You know what I mean? We look at them and we say, oh, well, you're doing good. You're providing. You're putting a roof over your kid's head and all of these things. But we don't like get down to the nitty gritty and say, listen, at its core, you're being a good dad,
Yeah,
and all of those things. So when people compliment us on it, I think it's just kind of like that's why it feels kind of foreign because we don't have those conversations. Men don't have those conversations. Women will get together and talk about it. They'll talk about their struggles with their kids or their struggles with their man or wife or what have you. But I mean, like men don't do that typically. We don't get down to the emotional nitty gritty of the dad.
no,
Yeah.
I can't say that I did before I started the podcast either.
Right.
It's more commonplace for me now because this is literally what I do.
Yeah.
But beforehand, and like me and my buddies, we all had our kids around the same time. We were all young dads,
Yeah.
and even then, it was conversations about providing and doing better and the usual young dad or young man shit, like
Yeah.
relationship talk, work talk, drinking beer,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But as far as being dads, we didn't have that conversation, and we do now.
Right.
But it's because it's intentional now to make
Hmm.
sure and hold each other to a standard,
Yeah.
and check on each other, make sure they're doing the thing. And it's a very, like you said, it's a very different conversation that doesn't happen enough.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But I would really like to have you back on the show sometime.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it'd
Just
be
let me
really
know.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just hit
and
me up.
because I gotta get ready to go paint with parents for my son.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Uh,
Do it up.
but man, I appreciate you coming on and telling your story, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
But yeah, and everybody, you can find him on TikTok. If you come to Modern Fatherhood, he's on all the stuff. He's on every post almost. He's in the lives.
I'm there.
So make sure to check him out. You can find me at Modern Fatherhood Podcast on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Although I'm not very active on Instagram because I hate it. Uh, we have a Discord now. You can message the TikTok to get in the Discord, and you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio now, thanks to Chris from To Be Better. Um, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm going to be more active after the New Year's. I've been, again, as I've talked about in this episode, I'm newly a single dad again, so I'm just getting used to things and working on that and getting into a routine and a schedule. So, and the holidays suck. Let's be honest. So I will
Yeah.
catch you guys on the next one, and keep showing up.
All right, man. Thanks.